Should you text message in real estate? Like, should you text message out to a lead or a cold lead? For example, an expired listing. Should you text message to start a conversation? I just did an experiment. If you want to find out what the result was, you're in the right place. Let's chat. Hi, my name is Mike Cerrone, and this is the Comeback Agent podcast, and I'm sharing kind of a vlog here of my experiences as a real estate agent, coming back into the real estate industry in a sales capacity after a 15-year break from sales. And I'm coming back in this year with a goal of selling 25 homes my first year. And so we're in the first month, and I'm doing a lot of different little tests. And one of the things that I just experimented with was text messaging out to a lead. I had watched a video about someone who had done this successfully and kind of took some notes about what he was doing and decided I'm going to give that a try. Let's see what happens. Let's just go ahead and give it a shot. I have another video where I mentioned that I set up a Google Voice number. So it's kind of my business number. And so I was able to, from the Google Voice, you can make phone calls, but you can also send texts. And so I experimented by just sending a very small batch of texts. In fact, here's what happened. I sent out 5 texts, and then I sent out a second group of 5. So I've sent out a total of 10 over about an hour. It took me a couple hours to get it set up. So, but just over a certain period of time, just setting it up in the system and trying to experiment. I did not send it through a CRM of some kind. I sent it through this Google Voice number. So it took a while to set that up in the Google Contacts and then send it out. But anyway, that's my long-winded story. I sent out 10, and now it's about 6 hours later. It's the end of the day. And I'll give my report about what happened. Okay. So if you sent 10 text messages out to expired listings, these were recent expireds, by the way. They didn't happen today, but they all happened within the last maybe 90 days, right in my area, my zip code. There's not a lot of expireds here, but they do happen. And so I'd say these 10, I also did owner occupied only. 10 probably had to go back 3 months or so, I'm guessing. That sounds about right. Maybe 4 months at the most, 3 to 4 months. And anyway, I got their information and their cell number. I put it into the dialer, and I sent out just a generic message that basically said who I am and that I'm reaching out about their property at this address, and that I'm curious if they've sold that or if it's still for sale, because it's come off the market. And so I got replies from 3 people. I didn't expect any replies, especially with such a small batch, but 3 people replied. The first person said, let's see, how did she put it? She said that she had moved back into the house. So I didn't quite get the full story there, but she had moved back into the house and was thinking about putting it on the market in April. So we got a lead there. It looks pretty good. By the way, I'm in January. I'm at the end of January. So April's a couple months away. Looks pretty good. So I hit a second series of questions for her to ask about her experience from before, and I have not heard anything back for several hours. So that's just floating out there. And of course, with a text message, it could sit there and die, or it could maybe reactivate at some point. So I've got that out there, and it's kind of interesting, right? The second person who replied said that she had rented out the property. I said, well, great. How long is the lease? And when you get to the end of the lease, would you consider selling it again? And she said, no, I'm probably going to keep it. The cash flows are really strong. And that's all she said. And I replied and said, wow, I love positive cash flow. You got to love positive cash flow. That's fantastic. And I offered for her the opportunity. I said, hey, some of your, I'm sending out a report to some of your neighbors, which I am. And the report basically lets you know about the market activity in the area, including I've got part of that will send out to you your current value of your property and an estimate of that, as well as have links, pictures, and with links to other properties of your neighbors that your neighbors are selling so you can keep up on the market. If you'd like me to send that to you, just send me your email address. And she did. So I've got a long-term lead there, probably a year or more out. Uh, but I've got her now into my database as a long-term lead. It's a very soft lead. You know, there's nothing strong there, but we are connecting. She gave me permission to reach out to her. And I wished her the best of luck with the rental and the tenants. Um, Now, the thing I know about that is I've owned a bunch of different properties and managed them myself. I know that they can go from sunny to rain pretty fast. So I'm okay with especially that situation. It may be nothing ever happens, or maybe I get a call in a month and they say the tenant's not paying, and who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. So I think that's a nice little lead there. They obviously had some interest in selling just recently in the last couple months. So that's out there. And then the third response was she just said, stop. And so I'm stopping, right? So that was a request to opt out, and I 100% am going to follow that and agree with that. So I made notes in my files not to reach back out to that lady. That turns out they were all ladies in this case, and that was my experience. So I'm kind of surprised out of 10 expired listings, if we go back through them, we got one who's thinking about selling here in a couple months, and we'll continue to follow up with her, even though the conversation stopped. The second one, I rented out, but is okay with me reaching out to her and giving her information. So maybe something will develop there. And the third one said, not interested at all. Right? I said, don't talk to me. And so that's cool too. So I think that's pretty good for 10 text messages. Now, the total time it took me, again, it took most of the morning to set it up because I was looking at different things. It was the first time. If I were moving forward now, knowing what I know, if I were to go do the next 10, it'd definitely take less than an hour, probably take less than 30 minutes to get 10 out. But it'd take 30 minutes to an hour, I'll just say that. And then I'd probably get better as I go. If I had it in a CRM, because I have a CRM that will send out text messages, I could probably pop these out super fast. I'm not sure I want to do that. I think it's probably good coming from this Google Voice number. I don't think it pops up as spam yet. Maybe it will start to, as people probably indicate whatever. And that's the other reason I'm going to keep the number low. I'll continue to probably just send out maybe 5 or 10 a day. I don't have a lot of expireds in my area over the whole year. In the zip code that I'm in, there was only 28 expireds, although they're growing. There's more now, but it's pretty small. But I'll just try to trickle through the rest of them. And again, not very intense. I'm not going to be intense on that part. I just want to see what happens with these text messages. But I thought I'd give a little report to see if that's something that might be interesting to you. If this was valuable, give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to hear more of this kind of material, if you have questions about text messaging, let me know down below. In fact, if you've done any text message reach outs to cold leads, I'd love to hear about that. Go ahead and drop it in the comments section below. That'd be fantastic. Again, appreciate your time today. I hope you keep moving forward. Bye for now.